What's going on, guys? Felix here from the Shopify Masters Podcast and Podcasting Secrets. And today I want to talk to you about why you might be doing too much while you are starting your podcast. So this is a lesson that I learned around the idea of context switching. So I'm constantly trying to make sure that I'm making the best of my time. How do I squeeze more out of my day? How do I get more done? Especially now that we're a little bit busier. Sleep is less. We got the dog, we got the baby. A lot is going on. How do I make more use of my day? Because I want to get more things done. I want to be seen as someone that's successful. I want to see someone that's seen as someone that gets things done. I want to be ambitious. I want to get things done. I don't want to be lazy. And I realized that success is all in my hands. So the more that I can get done, the more valuable things I can do with my time, the more success will come in my way. It's all in my hands. Like, how do I do things that spend more of the limited time I have and do more things that actually contribute to my business goals? And I realized, that I cannot add any more hours into my day. I've already do things like wake up at 3 a.m. to work on my business. I already find ways to squeeze things in during my lunch breaks from work. I already find ways to try to get more out of my day. And I feel maxed out. I feel like I can work as many hours as I'm already working as many hours as I can, to the point where I burnt out. Burnt out a couple of times. I tried to find. I talked about in this previous episode about how do I manage my burnout. How do I take breaks more frequently so that I don't burn out for big chunks of time. But I realized, okay, now how do I actually improve this more so that I burn out? I feel the need to take breaks even less. Like, how do I go for long stretches of time before I need to, quote unquote, manage my burnout by taking breaks? How do I do that? So what I realized was that I'm constantly pushing myself during the day. I'm pushing myself. I'm working hard. I'm motivating myself. I am doing things. I'm being, busy. And I realized that what busy means to me, what I was doing was that I was changing from job to job too frequently, from working on Podcasting Secrets course, from working on the podcast from scratch masterclass, which is what I'm currently focused on, from working on the day job to, family things, to errands, to even silly things like spending time responding to emails and text messages and running errands as small little chores. I'm jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing. And I realized that there is a huge cost to that. It's not just so much that I'm doing so many different things, but I'm switching from thing to thing too frequently. And there's a cost to that I started recognizing, to the point where actually I bought this audio book that I've heard about in the past. It's called Deep Work, which is just about how do you get into the zone more frequently. And what happens is that when you jump from task to task, you are breaking yourself away from being in the zone. And I think they call it attention residue, which is that you might decide to change from you might decide to change from watching a video to reading a book to answering a text message. You might decide to change your focus, but your brain, its attention, has some residue that is basically left over and still stuck on the past task that you're working on. And that's something you cannot control. It's just the way that our brains work, is that our attention does not shift as quickly as we consciously decide to switch. So there's a cost to stopping doing something, starting something new, switching from thing to thing. So I'm now focused on how do I stop so much context switching. So I've been doing things like turn off notifications. I've been telling people that, hey, I'm not going to answer during these certain times of day. I've been doing things like waking up when everyone's sleeping to work so that no one can distract me. I plan on blocking websites. I'm planning on doing things in batches like podcast editing, answering emails, doing errands, getting back to people. I'm trying to do these things in batches so that I can focus only one thing at a time and get in the zone for it. So rather than switching from thing to thing and being busy, I want to go deep on one particular task for as long as possible before switching to something else. And sometimes to me, that means doing nothing. It's better if I only have like 15 minutes between doing one thing, like working on a project and then jumping on a call and I have 15 minutes in between. Rather than trying to find something to do another 15 minutes, I just decompress and allow myself to switch off of the thing that I was working on instead of trying to find something to squeeze it in. Because again, there's a cost. The more things you switch from, if you got like 10 different things you're switching from, there's going to be residue in those 10 different things. Now your brain is spread amongst 10 different things a little bit, But if you are just focused on one thing at a time, all your attention is focused on that, you're not losing your attention and having little residues of attention on different tasks. So going deep on it, and I started doing this for this past week, and I actually feel less drained. I feel less likely to burn out. I feel I have more energy, which means I could do this for longer. I have more stamina to continue working on my business. I have more stamina to continue working on getting ready for my podcast from scratch masterclass. And I feel like I'm in the zone longer, So I feel like this is working for me. The big transformation for me was that I realized that I'm not special. I am just as distracted as any other human. I just get as easily distracted, right? And luckily I called myself out on it and realized, okay, how do I prevent this distraction? How do I stop being busy and feel like I'm not getting anything done? And the issue was that I need to be deeply focused for longer. Stop doing so many different things. I could do everything as much as I was doing before, but don't switch from thing to thing as frequently. Cut out things that aren't actually valuable work, like answering messages right away, answering emails, responding to everyone that hits me up very quickly. I don't do that anymore. I'm gonna try to cut that out, and then when there are things I need to do that are valuable, I'm gonna batch it up so I can go deep. I can get in the zone and work deeply on the task at hand. So, I think when you are doing something like starting a podcast, it's easy to get distracted, right? It's easy to start going down this path where you're like, oh, okay, first thing I need is equipment. And all of a sudden you're spending weeks like down this rabbit hole of what equipment to get, weeks down this rabbit hole of what software to get, weeks down this rabbit hole of what a podcast host to use. And like you're going down and getting distracted in so many different ways. What if there was a way to just see the entire path, just sit for an hour and a half through a master class that I'm putting together called Podcast from Scratch, where you learn every single thing you need to learn and only the things you need to learn, nothing extra, enough to take you from not knowing where to begin all the way to the very end, which is to have a podcast live. And it's going to walk you through the entire process. By the end of it, you have everything you need. Well, there's even a super cool bonus called, a super cool fast track bonus called the podcast launch checklist, which is just a one pager as a compliment. It's a perfect pair after the masterclass where you just knock down checklist item after checklist item, and by the end of it, you'll have a podcast launched and live. It's combating this distraction that we're all compelled to do to try to, figure out what equipment to get, what software to get. Like, it's so easy to get distracted. The master class just to walk you through. You're locked into the zone for an hour and a half. You're not switching from thing to thing. You're locked in. You have everything you need to do to launch your podcast. It's all inside the Podcast from Scratch Masterclass. If you want to hear more about it, make sure you get an email list over at podcastingsecrets.co. Hopefully that helps you out. Today, try to do less things, or if you want to do the same number of things, trying to switch from thing to thing so frequently. Spend a block of time, focus on only that one thing at a time, and once you're done, then switch rather than mixing it all up and trying to multitask. It doesn't work, hasn't worked for me. I don't think it works for anybody. So hopefully it helps you out. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye bye.